I haven't gone live in a really long time. I used to do this pretty often when I was going to ministry school and I wasn't in real school. But then, of course, going back to college, stopped, and that was a really good platform, I guess, at the time for me to be able to share about what I'm doing and like what I've been thinking about, and also share about things more of substance, like deeper topics such as faith or what I feel like God's teaching me and stuff like that. And as many of you guys know, I have been in New York for the past 2 months, pretty much, focusing pretty much entirely on career. I've been working at Nickelodeon, interning. I've been trying to work a lot on YouTube, as you can obviously tell, probably, or hopefully, just like trying to really like get my career going. And it's been tough as I've been like really confronted with the next steps of life. I'm going to be graduating in November from Dartmouth, and that's a really exciting thing, but it's also a really terrifying thing. So I think I just kind of want to address like where I'm at mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and yeah, and just be a little more honest about that, since I don't think I always talk about this in my videos, and I've been kind of straying away from that, and I've been like just honestly in a weird place mentally and emotionally. Oh, whoops. So I think that's probably why I haven't been talking about it that much, where it hasn't been as much of a priority as I would like it to be. So that's why I'm doing this stream, and it'll hopefully still be viewable when after the stream ends, like it'll save as a video. That's kind of the intention, is just for people who are curious about the more spiritual side of my life, or just like the spiritual aspect of my life, can come back and watch this and hear about my process, since I've been getting a lot of questions about next steps with career and all of that. But I haven't been vocalizing that to you in my regular content. So we're just gonna sit down, chat, have lunch. I was gonna just post this as a video, but I figured on the off chance that like one or two people might want to sit and converse with me a little bit, I figured I might as well live stream, even though I don't normally live stream. I didn't advertise this as a live stream, so I don't expect a ton of live viewers. But if you're here, I thank you. I see those 3 viewers right now. YouTube's really lagging this live stream, unfortunately, but whatever, like what can you do? But anyways, so what kind of catalyze? I'm also eating my lunch. Got Mamoon's falafel, which is a rec from my roommate here in New York. So thanks, Erica, finally trying it. But to start off, I'm gonna take a bite first. Sorry. Man, this is gonna be messy. But to start off, why I wanted to do this live stream in the first place and to talk was because I just listened to a really good sermon. For those of you guys who know, I'm Christian, and I've been going to church every week while being here in New York. And I don't know, the sermon was about goodness, and it was about like pursuing goodness as like your primary goal in life, like you having a passion to do good and to be good. And it really hit me because the way that they phrased it was very much like, ask yourself, like, what do you want? Like, when you are pursuing anything in your daily interactions, what is it for? Like, what's motivating you? And I think for a long time, like, especially when I was at ministry school, it was super easy and obvious. Like, yeah, I want to really pursue goodness. I want to be representing God well. Like, a large part of the reason why I wanted to go into film and media in the first place was to represent God and to, like, bring goodness into the world through my media, through my contributions, like, artistically, through the messages that I send out my social media. Aww. Oh, this is so good. I wish we could see it, but great rec, Erica. But because of that, I think I just realized I've been feeling like super empty. Like, I've been feeling entirely mechanical and robotic. And a lot of that, I think, is a result of me focusing so much on advancing my career to the point where I'm kind of neglecting relationships or emotions or emotional needs or even my faith. I feel like I've been doing everything right, like going to church, reading the Bible every morning, and all of that, but I've been so emotionally spent trying to focus on being perfect at my job, on YouTube, on Instagram, that I've like forgotten a little bit how valuable like my more interpersonal interactions are, and like what that means to me, and how like my career should always be secondary to my principles and my values, and like a large part of that is how I treat people. Something that's just really important to me. So I know that sermon really hit me hard, and a lot of the questions that were being asked were things like, yeah, like what do you strive for, like on a daily basis? Like what are you hoping to accomplish in the day? And I was like, what am I hoping to accomplish? Because honestly, half of what I've been thinking about on a daily basis is content, my schedule for uploads, my like ideas I can bring to work, or like my relationships at work and my networking and all that sort of thing. And in a weird way, in a sad way, it's been pulling me away from the original reason why I wanted to pursue media in the first place, was to like share God's goodness with people in a large, and like that starts from within, that starts from like the inner core of what motivates you. And you obviously can't produce good work, and you can't achieve those goals like once you've lost that foundation. Um, so yeah, I guess I like that's kind of like the topic for today is like fulfillment and life goals, and how that can be lost, but also how you can balance it well with like the very tangible steps of accomplishing what you want. It's funny, I think a lot of what I feel like I've been asking myself a lot this summer and these past few months, like, Joelle, what do you want? Like, where's your motivation coming from? Also, oh my gosh, sorry, I totally didn't see the chat in the stream, but Regina Garcia says, hi, you look cute. Hi, thank you for joining. Oh my gosh, I won't ignore the chat anymore. Sorry, I totally forgot what was there. But yeah, I've been asking myself that, and I've been praying about it a lot, like, God, where do you want me? But I've always been asking in terms of like, God, where do you want me career-wise? Like, should I come back to Nickelodeon? Should I go back to New York? Like, where would be the best move? Wow. This is really hard to do. It's really hard to eat and talk. But anyways, like, along those lines, I feel like I've stopped asking, like, I realized that my prayers have been deviating more from, God, I want to pray for my family, my relationships, for the people around me. I want to pray for, like, just the people and causes I care about, and they become, like, really internally focused. Like, God, where do you want me? Where can I have the most impact? Where can I do the best work? And all that sort of thing. And I realize that's just, like, not bad. Like, I think that's important to pray about as well. But when all of your prayers are inward focused and all of your goals are inward focused, then you forget about how you're interacting with other people on a day-to-day basis, and how your relationships and your care and compassion are like paramount to all of that. Like, what do you have to offer the world if you internally are like not doing well? And I don't know, I think that's something that I really want to remember and keep in mind. Lou Lee says, principles and values have little to no meaning in this world. There's good or bad. There's no right or wrong. There's just a blank slate. People have to make themselves more relevant. Okay, I disagree with that. Sorry, but anyways, thanks for sharing your thoughts. That's not what I believe, but people obviously have very diverse opinions and views on things. But yeah, so I guess in that regard, like, I really do value. I think it's really important to like think about like how we operate more tangibly and like the small levels, and like what does it mean to live authentically, and like am I doing that? And honestly, I think to a certain extent I don't think I was doing that. I don't think I've been doing that super well this summer, and I think I just wanted to vocalize that, because a lot of people like look at my Instagram or my YouTube videos and be like, wow girl, like you're thriving, that's awesome, like we're so happy for you. And I really appreciate that people feel that way. But I also felt like a little dishonest that I wasn't sharing about my insecurities, my doubts, and like the things that I know I need to work on. Since honestly, like that's a large reason of why I wanted to have a YouTube channel and a platform in the first place, is to share this process of getting to know myself better and getting to know God better, and understanding how those two things interact, and how that manifests in things like career education and all of that. So I don't know. I think I am posting a video about like my career decisions and like where I want to go next. Obviously in media, I've had like a few newer developments in terms of like life goals and that sort of thing they'll be sharing about, but I don't know. All my videos on that are very like practical. Like I'll talk about, oh, this is how I got my internship, or like these are the things I'm learning. This is how you can do well in these types of internships. But it's harder to find a good platform to talk about the really candid stuff of like, I have no idea really what I'm doing. Like I've had a lot of moments of just being like, I don't know what I want for myself, or like, I don't know if these relationships I'm having are genuine and all of that. Because no one really wants to hear that, but that's why I'm using this live stream, just to do it because I feel like it, and I think it's important to talk about how like navigating career life, you really have to balance a lot of your priorities, especially if you're pursuing a career in media where it's very image focused and you want to put on a good show and you want your relationships to be you want relationships that will help advance your career basically. And I think I was really frustrated by that in the beginning, and then I got really good at it. Like I feel like I got pretty good at saying, oh, I want to stay in touch with this person because I know they can help get me a job at some point, or I should make a good impression in this moment for this presentation because these people could refer me to somewhere that I want to go, which I think is like totally real and valid, but that's not how like I personally want to live my life. Like I think I really need to fight for that like genuine interaction, and it's weird when you get good at pretending to be genuine, because you almost trick yourself in saying like, oh, like, no, I'm asking the right questions, I'm like getting personal, I'm doing the right thing because I really do care about this person. But I totally had like a self-check today where I was just like, do I care about people? Like I feel like I've been a shell of a human, not really caring about anything. Like I get excited and I'm thankful for where I'm at and that sort of thing. But in terms of genuinely caring for another person, like really feeling compassion for them, I feel like I've been so like dead these past few weeks, months. I don't even know. Oh, Kristen L says, hi, you're the coolest. Thanks for joining, Kristen. Sorry, this is lagging, so you'll see me say that like a minute after you said it. But anyways, I appreciate all the comments, or anyone who's there who isn't commenting. And yes, I am still in New York City, only for a few more weeks though. But yeah, so I think that's something that like everyone my age, not everyone my age, but a lot of people my age, I would love if we like kept in mind more, because I don't know, I think you feel very defensive when you're at the beginning of your career, and like you need to start by making a name for yourself. You need to like pull all the right strings and I don't know, put on a good show, but because you're like, oh, I'm like starting out, like this is a really important part of like being a young professional, and that's true. But you realize that like fighting for your career doesn't really have an end date. Like it doesn't end. It's not like, oh, I'm going to focus on myself and my career for now. I'm going to have time for my friends and my relationships later. It's like, no, like you have to learn how to balance it now or never. Like it's just never going to stop. Well, I feel like I've seen this a lot in a lot of my friends' lives who are going into like consulting and finance, which is way more time intensive than my job, just in terms of how long they're stuck at the office and they're expected to be on their phones all the time. And I was like, oh man, like that sucks. Like I feel like you have no time for your relationships. And then this morning at church, I started realizing, wow, I think I've been doing the same thing for, towards all of my other relationships. And I'm not even in that demanding of job, but I've made my life demanding, like whether it's with like filming and editing YouTube videos, or like scheduling Instagram posts and that sort of thing, on top of having a 9-to-5. And like being social and like developing these new relationships in New York. Oh my gosh, hi Josh. Yes, it is low-key a mukbang because I need to eat my lunch and I'm hungry. And this falafel sandwich is really good. But I'm also just talking about, for any of you new people, I'm just talking about the struggles of like balancing career with like your values and your relationships and that sort of thing. Oh. Alright, Lou says, sometimes you have to sacrifice friends and relationships in order to gain your career. Yes, that is very unfortunate, but, like, it is true. And I think right now I'm kind of grappling with how much am I willing to sacrifice for each of these things. Like, one thing I've noticed, I hope, I don't think Sean or any of his friends are watching this, but I noticed I've been doing a really poor job of, like, investing into my relationship with my boyfriend this summer. I know I'm gonna see him in, like, a week, actually, so I'm like, fine, when I see him in a week, it'll be great. But in the meantime, like, all this life in between the times that we see each other, because it's very infrequent because we're long distance, means that, like, we can't put our relationship on hold when we're not seeing each other, or if it's going to be a really long gap before, like, in between the times that we see each other. Or else, like, what is this relationship, you know? Like, how do you operate in a relationship when you know it's going to be long distance indefinitely, and you know that you're both working on starting your careers? And if you both don't put time into it, then you might as well not be dating. Like, you should not be in a relationship if you're not willing to make sacrifices for each other and put things on hold. But I can tell I've been getting, like, frustrated with myself for not being able to balance, like, talking to my boyfriend a decent amount, but also, like, posting 2 videos a week and having a 9 to 5, you know? And I think that started to, like, manifest as, like, resentment a little bit towards, not exactly towards my boyfriend, but towards, like, the fact that I couldn't do everything, which is, like, obvious. Like, you know, I'm one person, I just, like, don't have that much time in the day. So, sorry, I feel like so unattractive to me to eating like this, but I'm so hungry. So, I don't know, that's been just a really big thing for me to, like, grapple with and try to, like, understand. So, I don't know where I'm going with this, but that's another red flag that I noticed. I think, like, a lot of us should take time to notice about ourselves is, like, when are we, I don't know, when are we acting in our own self-interest in, like, a valid way? Oh, gross, I food my face. And then at what point do we need to stop and reevaluate our priorities and say, okay, yes, I'm going to, like, worry about my career, but I also have this person I really care about, and I don't want to take them for granted, since, like, I think it's one of my biggest fears is to, like, not be thankful for what I have and, like, what's right in front of me. So that's, like, another thing that I think is worth thinking about. But I don't know, to go back to the sermon that I heard today that really, like, kicked me into this mode of trying to understand what's going on in here. It was in Peter, and it was talking about how Jesus was telling us to, like, be eager to do good and to be to basically, like, live a life so motivated by bringing goodness into the world that that's, like, our primary drive, and that we look forward to being able to set our lives apart by pursuing goodness, and that people would ask, like, wow, like, what is it about that person that makes them like that? And it's like the thing that Jesus said that was supposed to be so distinct about Christian lives is, like, our hope and our, like, our excitement for the future and our hope for the future, because we don't have to worry about the same things that other people worry about, because we know that God's with us, we know that God is looking out for us, and that we, like, can rely on that, and we can have peace and be able to share peace, and rather than being focused on what we can gain from other people, we're looking forward to what we can contribute to our relationships and to the world around us. And that's something that I always tried to do, and I thought about a lot while in ministry school. It's like, how do I live a life that's, like, set apart? And so it's still a huge goal of mine, but I just realized I don't think I've been doing that super well this summer. And I kind of wanted to, like, sit and process out loud with you guys how, like, what that looks like for me, and what that could look like for you guys, like, as individuals, what it should look like for all of us to, like, live a life that is, like, kind of defined by goodness and, like, giving rather than taking, because we know that we have resources from God, and, like, we don't need to I feel like bad saying we don't need to rely on other people, but we don't need to fear failure or fear having a lack the same way that other people do, because we know that God's with us and that God is like providing for us. So I don't know. And I kind of tied in with my like adventures on social media, I guess, and how like when you're trying to establish a social media brand, the brand always goes back to like, what's your intent? Like, what do you want? What do you want to be sharing? What do you want to be saying? And I thought about that a lot. I feel like it's constantly changing. But the one thing that hasn't changed has been I want to provide information for people, be a resource for other people. I also want to contribute like light and positivity and life and that sort of thing, which leads into like this random thought I had the other day. Basically, two of my friends from college are really into making TikToks. They just like do it for fun, and it kind of blew up. And they're really good at it. They just have a lot of fun with it. And I was exploring TikTok, and I was like, wow, this is such an interesting platform, because yes, there's people who are here like really like for the clout or whatever, but also having like such short form content allows for them to just like be themselves, to like be goofy and like share silly things and not put too much thought into it and not be so meticulous about it like YouTube and Instagram are. Obviously, there are some TikTokers that like put a lot of thought and effort behind it, but you know, for the most part, it's like 14-year-old boys who are just like, yeah, I look good. Let me just like post a video of myself or something, and I think, oh my gosh, it's exploding. And I was thinking like, oh, like this seems like a lot of fun. Like maybe I should try it, just because I would love to have a platform that I can just like be totally goofy on. Like I don't need to have like curated content or whatever, because I wouldn't be trying to do it to like be the next TikTok star. I'd be doing it to just like have a fun outlet for myself. But I was also thinking like, if I'm gonna put something out there on the internet, what do I want to do? Like, what is worth other people's time to watch? And in a weird way, that's where TikTok like looped in with the sermon I heard today. And when the pastor was asking the question, like, what do you want for yourself? Like, what do you want to be known for? What do you want on a daily basis? And like, how do you pursue goodness in your everyday life? I was like, maybe like in my social media brands, like how am I pursuing goodness in my everyday life? Because so much of social media, as we all know, is like thirst. Sorry, I saw Josh's comment. I did not expect to like TikTok as much as I did. Yeah, TikTok, like in a weird way, I saw it and I was like, this is it. I totally see why people like why it appeals to people, because it's such like goofy short form content. And like social media platforms, like after they pop off, like you're always looking for a way to be the best, and a lot of that, you know, relies on exclusivity. Like you can't be the best if you're doing what other people are doing, so it often requires looks, talent, obviously, like being clever, but also things like equipment or like a team or people to help you out, which is very much what happened with YouTube and Instagram. So I don't know. I think I would love to be able to like integrate that in my life, and like be able to have my social medias reflect my internal values. And basically, yeah, I just feel like I haven't been doing a good job of that recently, so that's what I'm trying to do. Also, Josh, it's the Mason twins, so go follow them. They're really funny and just like adorable, and I love them. But yes, I don't know. For any of you guys watching, I want to know what you think. I want to know like what motivates you, like what gets you up in the morning, what makes you excited in the day, and why do you feel the need to be kind or not kind to other people? Because for me, as a Christian, I feel like kindness and being good is like it's in my DNA. Like I want ultimately at the end of my life to be known for contributing to the well-being of others in whatever way. And I think that like social media and like digital media is a way that I'm able to do that well, because I have like a proclivity towards it. Like I have a like knack for it. But I don't know, the way that you do that in the little things, it gets muddy. Like when you're frustrated or like in a bad mood or tired, those are the moments where you can distinguish yourself. as someone who is like marked by goodness. And it's not just like the big things like, oh yeah, like I made a film and it had a great message. It's like, no, I want every piece of my content that I produce to be honest, but to also be honest and like aspirational towards goodness, you know? Claire Who says, I love what you said about setting yourself apart with an eagerness for goodness and contribution. Oh, thanks, Claire. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm really grappling with this right now, but I think it's really important. I think it's something that like I wish was spoken about more in casual media like this, or on digital media, on Instagram or whatever, on YouTube. But I feel like so much of the content that I've been seeing has been focused on obviously more materialistic things, like not even in a bad way, because like I love me some good like product placement. I love seeing friends that are hot, love seeing them pop off. But at the end of the day, like it doesn't satisfy my like internal like being. Like I want to see substance, and I want to see what it means for other people to really contribute to like the environment that they're in and that sort of thing. And obviously, it's not like everyone needs to be like a holistic like lifestyle blogger that talks about their feelings all the time. But in a lot of ways, it's hard to have like those deeper conversations with people on an everyday basis. And I think if it were a little more normalized, I think people would think about it more often. And I think it would really alter the way that we think about things like our career and our education and that sort of thing, because we know that there's like a deeper substance to all of like our human values and all of like our intrinsic worth. And yeah, I think I've been like looking for that without realizing it, and then not being satisfied, and then just like slowly losing touch with myself this summer because I haven't been taking the time to focus on doing that. And I've been so worried about like my social media presence, and so worried about doing well in work, because a lot of what I want to do in work and a lot of the opportunities I would like to have relate to my social media presence, which is super weird. And I think like kind of unusual, I guess, for like other corporate jobs, but yeah, I'm gonna take this bite really quick. Anyways, I don't want to ramble on more than I need to, but this is like my way to internally and externally process what's been going on in my life right now, as I'm hitting like a very pivotal moment in my college career, about to graduate, and I just wanted to vocalize some of this since I get a lot of comments in like DMs and stuff from people saying, hey, I really value how you're like open about your faith on YouTube and Instagram, and I think it's really inspirational. And this is totally not me trying to like self-help. Also, I'm eating a falafel sandwich. It's breaking though, so it's making a huge mess, but yes, this is it. But there's literally food coming outside. That was super gross. I'm so sorry I just did that. But because of that, like, I really appreciate those messages, because it reminds me of why I do what I'm doing in the first place. I think upon receiving a few of those messages recently, also I realized, oh my gosh, when was the last time I like spoke about my faith, or about like how it impacts my career decisions? And it's been a long time, so I was like, that needs to change, because I literally feel like God sent me, or like, you know, gave me these platforms to be able to share. And if I'm not doing that, then I don't want to be doing media. I don't want to be doing Instagram or YouTube, or even like working at Nickelodeon, if I don't have that like deeper, more intrinsic motivation to like contribute God's goodness to whatever environment I'm in. So that's the tea, guys. I hope this was entertaining, I guess, for you guys. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, even if just for a little bit. I know it was like really all over the place, but I think I just really needed to like bring it back, like bring it all back to where I started, and to like my core of this channel is to contribute to people's like life experiences, like by sharing an honest like take, I guess, on what it means for me to be an Asian Christian in the modern age, but also to be able to, I don't know, share some positivity and like ask questions that I think are worth asking and that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm gonna stop now. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. If you have questions on what the hell I'm talking about, because I was really all over the place, feel free to leave those down below. feel free to DM me as always, and please subscribe if you haven't done that already for more lifestyle, but also life, advice, positivity, reflection, that sort of thing, because we love that. But yeah, thank you. Bye guys. Bye Hazel. Thank you. I will enjoy the rest of my time in New York City. Peace.